Colin, day one training camp. Obviously finished the year as head coach here, but just for yourself, how nice was it to have the summer to prepare and to get ready for what is a big year for this team and a big training camp as well?
It was great to have an opportunity with Keith and myself to fill out our staff. Right, first of all, got that in place, and then started working and talking about what the plan will be. So, able to do it over the summer. Obviously, got to enjoy some time with my family, and then I was off to Edmonton for a few times, which was development camp to rookie camp in Penticton, and then main camp in Edmonton, which was a great experience for myself and for our staff.
How important were those 3 weeks? You mentioned kind of Penticton and Edmonton, being able to see guys that maybe you hadn't seen before, but be able to see them off the ice, on the ice, kind of around the rink before you even got here to Bakersfield.
Yeah. Well, it's great because from development camp you get to build some relationships with Bourgault and Schaefer and Petrov, and already ones that you have with Hamlin and Cam Bites and that kind of stuff, right? And then you bring that into rookie camp, and it's just a continuation, right? And then you get to watch them in main camp. So what it does is it gives you a little bit of a head start, not maybe on your tactical stuff, but just more as to them understanding where you're coming from, understanding that you're trying to help them and they're trying to help you, and that we're all working together.
A lot of roster influx, obviously, still with this team, and a lot still to come. You have a lot of guys on tryouts here. What was kind of the message to the team and to the group as you kicked off training camp here on day one?
The message was simple, that we're hard and we're a blue-collar team. We're hard to play against. Having said that, we're thankful and appreciative for people traveling through Bakersfield to get to Edmonton. And for the players that have been here, they know the road to Edmonton runs through Bakersfield. That was a conversation. The other part was about understanding that there is opportunity here and there are jobs, and we're speaking to the Fort Wayne Comets. We're speaking to them and letting them know that there are jobs to be won, and it's up to them to do what they can with their opportunity. And just exciting about creating that healthy competition, which in the end breeds success.
Defensively, it seems like, depending on who ends up coming down from Edmonton, but the guys that you have here, there's a lot of continuity on the blue line as opposed to maybe last year where it was a lot of young, new faces, but those guys have really matured now in the system.
Yeah, you see, like you said, guys like Kessering and Caldas and Peters and Kemp, and guys that are more mature players than being a young back end. Now they're still young, but they are further along than they were, a year or 2 or 3 years ago. So, we're excited about that. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's coming or who's staying, and in the end, that's what training camp's for, and it'll work itself out.
New coaching staff, things change. How much do you implement what's going on in Edmonton at this level, and how much do you put in of your own stuff?
Well, really, we're a team and we're aligned. Jay and I talk all the time. We want to make sure that when guys get called up from Bakersfield to Edmonton, there's no development, there's no training, it's plug and play. And so they need to know what's happening up there. So are we allowed to add layers and put our own spin on things as coaches in Bakersfield? Absolutely. But our players need to know what is happening in Edmonton, and they will. And I think the beauty of it is being able that I've worked with the head coach in Edmonton, know how he operates. I would say it's very similar in both places.
I just wanted to ask you, playing off what you were just saying a moment ago, it seemed like about 4 years ago there'd be only 1 or 2 guys doing that movement. Now, with such a fluid just movement between Bakersfield and Edmonton, when you come into training camp like this, is it a big question marks in regards to who's going to be sent down rather than maybe years past?
Well, I think Edmonton and Bakersfield, just like you said, have done a fantastic job moving players through on and up, and more importantly, staying there, being able to be real NHL players. So I think we need to try to do what we can to continue that. As far as who or what, at the end of the day, the coaches are going to take the eye test, and it's going to be based on how the players perform. And it's still too early to tell, especially for us here on day one. We'll go through a couple weeks here, and we'll wait for whatever the call is from Edmonton. And whether you're in the ECHL like Bakersfield was lots of years, you really don't know who's coming until you see the whites of his eyes.
You have Esposito, Griffith, some of the veterans that have come down, Greg McKegg as well, too, a new veteran to the organization. But how much importance is placed on veteran leadership, especially at this level, and all the young talent that's coming in. But the veteran leadership to be able to, as you kind of mentioned, keep that culture established here in Bakersfield.
You know, I think it starts first with the coaching staff and the management having their relationship with those veteran players, whether it's Malone, Griffith, McKay, whoever they are, having a relationship with those players and them understanding where you're coming from so they can extend your message when you leave the room. And that has happened here in Bakersfield for a handful of years now, something that we will continue. How important it is, it's important when your veterans are the right veterans and they're doing the right things and they're trying to do what they can to push to be an NHL player or to stay to be an American League player. And we believe that we have those types of players. As far as who they are and when they come, we don't know, but those conversations have happened in the summertime, and we believe that they're going to help our young players. And then lastly, have that next wave of veterans coming through when they're ready. You know, right now we're taking it day by day, and we don't know when that's going to be.
What's the goal the first couple of days of training camp? Seemed like today was a lot of skating.
Yeah.
Is that just to make sure everybody's in shape? You've had some guys with a lot of camp time, some without much camp time.
You know what? There's themes every day. You know, today we had more of an offensive theme that we were trying to, you know, being attack the net, being aggressive, getting into those hard areas to set that stamp right away. And you know, that was the theme. It will continue to more zone play tomorrow, and each day we'll kind of just piece off one part of our game each day, and then we'll watch the games and see what areas we need to pick on to help improve.
And lastly, is it special when you're seeing not only the young guys, the young rookies that are thinking, but you see veterans like Esposito, Malone having a shot at making the big club after all these years?
Yeah, you know, something we talked about last night in the opening meeting. Brad Malone, I believe it was 4 years between NHL games. You know, 6 years between NHL goals, and talk about being patient and talk about work and grind. And you know, I remember one of the things Brad said that. He was thankful for the work that Trav put him through, you know, and the strength coach to get him to understand how to prolong his career. So, and that's just one story, right? You got there's many that have gone through that path. So, you know, we're thankful for that. We're excited for him, and you know, we need more to follow.